Number 5, you have a funding circle. Our score, 9 over 10. So if you're looking for a Sprinter Van business loan, soft pull, no hard pull initially, Funding Circle could be a great platform for you. And the good thing is that they are a general platform, but they can actually customize your Sprinter Van business loan, soft pull and no hard pull initially. Okay, here you have a term length from 6 months to 84 months. This is really good. And the maximum loan amount you can get for your Sprinter Van is $500,000. Actually, there are no Sprinter vans that cost that much, but the possibility is there. If you want to buy a fleet of Sprinter vans, you can be approved through Funding Circle. What we love about Funding Circle is that they actually are pretty flexible. Okay, they want you to be in business for at least 1 to 2 years minimum. And so when we talk about Funding Circle in general, the pros are like, we love the fact that you have a constellation of loan options beyond Sprinter vans and cargo vans. You can actually get regular loans, unsecured term loans and whatnot. This is kind of cool. The only thing we don't like with Funding Circle is that sometimes they have a longer average funding time when compared to other platforms for Sprinter van business loans or cargo van business loans or regular loans for that matter. So if you were to choose Funding Circle, just be comfortable with waiting. You got to be patient. Okay, so for your Sprinter van business loan, they will give you your cash, but it takes a while. And what do I mean by a while? It might take a week or 2 weeks because they verify a lot of things. Okay, but the cool thing is that we love the fact that they have a streamlined application that actually takes all Sprinter van business loan application. Again, everything is soft pull. Okay, they'll never do a hard pull on you. They'll do a soft pull, and if you like the numbers that they're offering you, you can go ahead and actually apply for a Sprinter van business loan. So here are the Funding Circle borrower requirements. So you have so they want you to have minimum annual revenue, so $50,000. In terms of minimum time in business, 1 to 2 years, and sometimes they will ask you to have a minimum credit score of 600 to 650. Okay, but overall, this is a great platform. We love the fact that Funding Circle actually, they are really flexible. If you actually accept the fact that they are kind of slow, they are a great platform to think about when it comes to Sprinter van business loan, soft pull, not hard pull initially. So our score, Funding Circle, our score, 9 over 10. Number 4, we have CIT, our score, 9.1 over 10. By the way, welcome back to our show. I really appreciate having you here. We're having a conversation about Sprinter van business loans, soft pull, no hard pull initially. Okay, so when we think about CIT, we're thinking about a platform that is great for fast funding. So if you're looking for a Sprinter van business loans, soft pull, you want to go with CIT if you want fast funding. So CIT is basically the opposite of Funding Circle in terms of funding celerity, in terms of funding speed. Okay, and the term length for CIT, 6 to 72 months, maximum amount $500,000. So you can actually finance a whole fleet of Sprinter van business. You can finance a whole fleet of Sprinter vans through CIT. Okay, their interest rate starts at 5.49%. Okay, and they want you to be in business minimum 1 to 2 years. Okay, and in terms of, here are the pros and cons of this lender. Now, pros: the funds can be received in 1 business day for your Sprinter van business loan, and they have a wide range of loan amounts for specific needs. So in addition to Sprinter van business loans, they do offer all kinds of loans also, and they lend to a variety of different industries. So we love that a lot. What about the cons? Well, they're not really transparent. So CIT is not really transparent, and there is very little information provided on eligibility requirements for your Sprinter van loans. Now, we have done the research for you, and you just need to make sure that you have your bank statements, your tax returns, your financial statements, and you will qualify for CIT. Now, let's talk about CIT, small business financing at a glance. And here we're speaking about equipment financing, including Sprinter van business loans. So you have up to $500,000. The repayment term 6 to 72 months. The estimated APR range starts at the 5.49%. So this is really important. But overall, so when you think about CIT, think about equipment financing, working capital loans. Think about SBA loans, CDC loans, okay? In terms of requirements, they are pretty flexible. They're really flexible, and we love the fact that they're constantly working with a wide range of Sprinter van business loan owners. Fantastic. Number 3 we have here, Taylor Financial. Our score, 9.4 over 10. By the way, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're still having a conversation about the top 5 Sprinter van business loans, soft pull, no hard pull initially. Okay, and so when we talk about Taylor Financial, we're thinking about a lender that's great for startups. If you are a startup in the Sprinter van industry or the sector or the cargo van industry, you would want to think about Taylor. Okay, and their term length goes from 12 to 84 months. Maximum loan amount $2 million. The starting interest rate is 3.49%, and it goes all the way to 28%. In terms of minimum credit score, they'll take care of you if you have a minimum credit score of 550. Okay, so here are the pros and cons of Taylor Financial. So pros: they have competitive interest rates on equipment financing, including Sprinter van business loans and cargo van business loans. You have quick time to funding. You have a wide range of lending products, including SBA loans and equipment financing loans. Maximum loan amount tend to be relatively large. We love that a lot. And they have relatively low credit score requirements on most products. What about the cons? Well, you have to think about the fact that they do have origination fees that are charged on some products. They charge documentation fees on some products, okay? And one thing I want to say here is that that factor rates on lines of credit and term loans can end up being too expensive depending on your offer. So overall, we like Taylor because they do offer financial solutions for Sprinter van and cargo van startups and newly established businesses. You can borrow up to $2 million with commercial equipment financing or explore other finance options such as a business line of credit or working capital loan. So this is kind of cool, okay? And we love the fact that they actually give you a constellation of business funding programs. So you have for your Sprinter van, of course. So you have term loans, you have lines of credit, you have accounts receivable factoring, you have cash advances, you have equipment financing, you have equipment leasing, you have equipment refinancing, you have equipment sale leaseback. So you do have a constellation of funding programs. So this is really fantastic. Number 2 we have here, commercial fleet financing. Our score, 9.6 over 10. So one thing we love about commercial fleet financing is that they are great for commercial vehicles, especially Sprinter van businesses and cargo van businesses. Here, the maximum loan amount is $1 million, and the APR is not available, and they want you to have a minimum credit score of 640. So what are the pros and cons of this lender? Commercial fleet financing. The pros: quick application with limited documentation requirements. Funding may be available in as quick as 24 hours. We love that a lot. And you may be able to finance 100% of the cost of your Sprinter van. What about the cons? Not upfront with their rates, so transparency is the big problem for commercial fleet financing, in our view. And you may need a credit score of 600 to 640 to qualify for the best rates and no down payments. And they may require down payments for borrowers with very, very, very poor credit. Okay, so it's something to really think about. So in our view, commercial fleet financing is great for business owners with lower personal credit scores, business in need of funding fast, and business needing commercial vehicles and trailers. So besides Sprinter vans, if you're looking for trailers also, commercial fleet financing can be great for you. Okay, so we love commercial fleet financing in general because they actually specialize in commercial transportation equipment like trucks, Sprinter vans, trailers, and cargo vans. And they've been in business for the last 25 years, so they know what they're doing, okay? And they have funded a lot of transactions, so we love that a lot. And what we love about commercial fleet financing is that they are constantly revamping their offer. So their offer in terms of equipment financing, in terms of equipment leasing, auction lines of credit. So they're constantly coming up with new products, with new offers, and this is really good, and customers love them. So commercial fleet financing, our score 9.6 over 10. Number one, the best of the best when it comes to Sprinter van business loans, soft pull, no hard pull initially. We have national funding, our score 9.9 over 10. By the way, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about the top 5 Sprinter van business loans, soft pull, no hard pull initially. So national funding is a 9.9 over 10. We love that a lot. And national funding is great for high revenue businesses. And if you are a Sprinter van business right now, and you have actually you have been in business for 6 months, and you are generating healthy levels of cash flows, national funding wants to hear from you. Okay, the term length 36 to 60 months. We love that a lot. Maximum loan amount is a little lower than other players on this list, but hey, listen, it is what it is. So they are giving you maximum $150,000, and the interest rate starts at 4.99%. And minimum credit score 600 to 650. So it is what it is, okay? And one thing I want to say here is that the pros and cons. What the pros? Well, you have next day funding. You have early payoff discount. This is really good. You have no down payments needed because this is totally because the Sprinter van will constitute the collateral, and you have the lowest payment guarantee. Now, what about the cons here? Well, you only have 2 loan options. And in terms of transparency, national funding has to work a little bit on that because they're not really clear about certain things, and they do have a steep business income requirement. So overall, we love national funding because they'll give you a maximum loan amount from 100 to 150, okay? And they are asking you for a lot of things. Now, national funding can be great for you if you need quick funding, because they can get your cash for your Sprinter van within 24 hours. This is really good. If you are, let's say you really love, the thing is that you are constantly, you have it in the industry for a while and you have experience. If you are looking for low rates, national funding can also be a great player that you might want to think about, okay? And national funding offers a constellation of loans, from term loans to term lines of credit, to working capital loans, to short-term loans. They offer also, and they do this across a wide range of industries, okay? And so if your Sprinter van is kind of fine, they do offer equipment financing, not a problem at all, okay? This is totally easy for them to do. But the bottom line here is that make sure you contact national funding first. Make sure you contact them first so that they can actually give you more information, so you are clear about their requirements. If you have made it so far, I want to reward you with a bonus. So I'm basically sharing with you Bank of America, which is in our research we have found that Bank of America has a great resource, has a great Sprinter van business loan for all players, all industries, and our score for Bank of America 8.8 over 10. Now the only reason why we actually didn't rank Bank of America higher is that depending on the states you're applying from, they might do a hard pull. Usually they don't do a hard pull because the Sprinter van constitutes the collateral on the loan. But in some cases, very rare cases, for example, in Illinois, they do a hard pull. In Massachusetts, they do a hard pull. So it really depends on the geography. In Alaska, they do a hard pull. They're not really present so much in Alaska, but we have seen that they do a hard pull in Alaska and Alabama, okay? So, but with Bank of America, the thing here is that you have term length up to 60 months. This is, in our view, the best Sprinter van business loan from a traditional bank. The maximum loan amount, there's no maximum because Bank of America has a wonderful balance sheet, an seemingly unlimited balance sheet. But they will start at $25,000 for the loan. That's the minimum. The starting interest rate 6.75%, okay? And the minimum time in business 2 years. That's just how Bank of America rolls, and they're not going to change. So when you think about Bank of America, I want you to think about the fact that you have a big bank, you have a big national bank that has branches all over the place, and they can give you the cash you need for your Sprinter van business loan. And so what are the borrower requirements? Well, it's usually around 2 years in business, or 1 or 2 years in business. Make sure that you have a relationship, an existing relationship with Bank of America. So you are basically, you have an advantage here. Okay, they will ask you for some documents, financial statements and whatnot. So those are really important also. One thing I also want to say here is that when you want to apply for a Bank of America Sprinter van business loan, make sure that you are applying at a branch, okay? Because there are some documents they will ask you, especially about the vehicle itself, and it's just a lot better to bring those documents and just go to a branch where they can just check those documents, as opposed to doing the back and forth over email or regular mail. So that's just food for thought. If you're trying to accelerate the process, this could be a very interesting proposition for you. Okay. Now, let me give you a very short overview about equipment financing and equipment loans in general work. Whether we're talking about Sprinter van business loans or cargo van business loans, there are some patterns that all business loan applications must follow. Okay, remember that if you are trying to get a cargo van or a Sprinter van business loan, you are able to get some cash to purchase equipment. So this is equipment. This equipment is the vehicle, right? You need the vehicle. You need the Sprinter van to operate your business. And it's important to understand that any equipment loan, any loan, is a type of asset-based financing, meaning the equipment acts as collateral to secure the loan. So for your Sprinter van business loan, the Sprinter van will constitute the underlying assets, will constitute the collateral. And one thing I want to say here is that there are a lot of places where you can get, equipment financing arrangements, Sprinter van business loans. So besides all the 5 players that I just listed into this conversation, you can still get your Sprinter van business loans at credit unions. Oh yeah. There are a lot of credit unions in the country that will actually work with you. You have alternative lenders. Okay, you have the Kalamata Group. You have the Balboa Capital. Okay, you have, Balboa Capital, they do a cargo van, but they don't do a Sprinter van that much. That's why we did not include them here. Otherwise, they're a strong player, as a matter of fact. And in some cases, the SBA might actually, you might be able to get an SBA loan to actually buy your Sprinter van business loan. But if that happens, you're getting a hard pull. Okay, so this is usually not a soft pull, so you're getting a hard pull, that's for sure. But one thing I want to say here is that this has to be part of a conversation that you have with yourself, and you have to ask yourself, what are you looking for? What type of lender are you comfortable working with? So those are important questions you need to pay attention to. Before I close to this conversation, let me give you a few pro tips in terms of Sprinter van financing versus leasing. Remember, you can rent a Sprinter van. With no or low upfront cost with equipment leasing. So while leasing seems cheaper than an equipment loan, since you don't need to provide a down payment, you are likely paying more in the long run. Okay, you won't ever own the equipment with leasing, disallowing the ability to claim depreciation. So if you have a Sprinter van and you are leasing, you're not going to be able to claim depreciation. But hey, listen, if you don't care about that, that's fine. That's totally fine. So when we compare and contrast equipment financing, in other words, Sprinter van business loan versus equipment leasing, Sprinter van leasing, let's look at the pros and cons here. So for equipment financing, you have equipment loans that cover the cost of the equipment, the vehicle, in exchange for periodic repayments over a specific term. The borrower owns the vehicle, and a down payment is usually required, and this costs less in the long run. And in terms of depreciation, this is totally tax deductible. Okay, now if you think about equipment leasing. So whether you should lease your Sprinter van. Well, when it comes to payment terms, the borrower makes periodic payments to rent equipment over a specific term. The lender owns the equipment, and a down payment is not typically required, and this will cost more in the long term. And the depreciation is not typically tax deductible because the lender will actually claim the depreciation. So to actually, we're having a show about how to decide whether equipment financing is better than equipment leasing. But one thing I want to say here is that it really depends on your cash position. It depends on your cash position in the short run versus the long run. If you were to choose, okay, those are really important. Thank you so much for your attention. Before I do a recap here, I just want to acquaint you with, we do have a loan evaluation approach on this show when it comes to categorizing, when it comes to evaluating and listing Sprinter van business loans. So please check this out. All right, let's do a quick recap here. So here are the top 5 Sprinter van business loans, soft pull, no hard pull initially. So number 1, we have national funding, 9.9 over 10. Number 2, we have commercial fleet financing, 9.6 over 10. Number 3, we have T-Core Financial. Our score 9.4 over 10. Number 4, we have a CIT. Our score 9.1 over 10. And number 5, we have a Funding Circle. Our score 9 over 10. And in the bonus category, we have a Bank of America. Our score 8.8 over 10. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.